I'm freaking out with excitement right now. It has been my dream for so long to be a motivational speaker. And the fact that each one of you have your butts in these seats right now is totally making my dream come true. And I feel like I should pay you for being here, and I'm actually going to. So just at the end, I'll be talking about it, but you are all getting payment from being here. So thank you, thank you. Hi, Nikki. I'm so happy you're here. So if you're wondering why I want to be a motivational speaker, it's because for the last 25 years, I've had a lot of struggles in my life, as we all have, dealing with body dysmorphia disorder, with addictions, with depression, with OCD, with self-hatred, just a lot of things that I've struggled with. But in this amazing journey of life, I've learned so many incredible tools that have helped me. And I've kind of been nervous all week. I'm like, who are you to be on stage and sharing your story? But who am I not to be on stage? And who are each one of you in the room not to be on stage? Because we all have an unbelievable story to share. And it's really about loving each other and connecting with each other and just being here in love. So that's why I want to do this. I always thought I needed to be Oprah because I'm like, I can't do this. I still have addictions. I'm still struggling with my addictions and I'm struggling with this and that. But the bottom line is Oprah has weight issues still. If you notice, she just signed up with Weight Watchers. You know, she still has her stuff, but every day she shows up, she takes a step, she moves forward. And that's what I'm so excited about tonight, is telling you guys how we can show up and move forward in our life. So anyway, everyone who's here, and those of you that I don't know, I just love you guys so much. Thank you. My heart is so grateful right now. I am so grateful to you. Hey. So to get started, I'm going to be talking about 8 simple keys that you can implement in your life this year to have a lot of happiness and a lot of joy, a lot of contentment. And the very first key is make happiness a priority. Choose happiness now. Now, I want to rewind back to 2003. And in 2003, I was pretty miserable. I was very unhappy. I have something called body dysmorphia disorder. And if you guys don't know what that is, it's a term that was coined in the 1880s, and it means, dysmorphia means ugliness, specifically of the face. And people that have it, it's a psychological disorder, and you're obsessed with a perceived flaw or defect in your personal appearance. And it usually doesn't have anything to do with your appearance, but you perceive it. You can't see differently. So for me, it's like I'm looking through life with these foggy pair of glasses on, and I can't see that my body is 100 pounds or 130 pounds versus 300 pounds. I don't see life correctly. There's a lot of self-loathing. There's a lot of self-hatred. You want to isolate. You're very depressed. Most people with body dysmorphia disorder are very suicidal. And 1/3 of the people with body dysmorphia disorder pick their skin. And that's what I've been doing for 20 years. I've been digging holes in my face with tweezers. It's really fun, guys. I love it, but I still struggle with it on a daily basis, but that's okay. So I find myself in Sheffield, Massachusetts at the Option Institute. I'm there for 2 weeks, and I just want to learn how to be happy because I'm kind of miserable. I'm feeling fat. I'm feeling I can't show up. Thankfully, I think my boss, that was my boss at the time, I think you let me go. Wait, yeah, I think you let me go to that. And it was amazing. And the coolest thing ever is we have the power to change our beliefs at any time. What beliefs do you have in your life right now that are no longer serving you? And for me, I've got a lot, but one of them that I really think is silly is I believe I'm not photogenic. And if you ask my parents, my cute parents, mom, dad, stand up. Like, these are the most amazing people on the planet. Tom and Pat. Every time we're at a family function, I'm like, say something funny, because I don't believe I'm photogenic. But I could totally change that belief and believe that I'm photogenic, but I don't. Anyway, so we're talking about happiness, and you can wake up every morning with the intention to be happy. You can wake up and choose to have a 1 or a 10. 10 being very, very, very happy. You can be happy 100% of the time. Now, I did not believe this because, are you kidding me? In life, you can be happy 100% of the time. If you're not happy 100% of the time, who's choosing the other percentage? You are. So you can always be happy 100% of the time. And the key is setting an intention to be happy. You co-create your life with the energy of your intention. You co-create your life with the energy of your intention. And I want to share with you, so I have the most amazing job in the world. I work for Children's Miracle Network Hospitals. We raise money for children's hospitals across the country, and I have the most incredible coworkers here and former coworkers. Thank you so much for being here. I love you guys. And we raised, $360 million last year at our children's hospitals, and we treat 10 million kids, and I do celebrity relations for the organization, so I help do events with celebrities all over the country to raise money. Well, I always get asked, who's the best celebrity that you've ever worked with? Or who's the worst celebrity? But I'm going to tell you one of the best celebrities I've ever worked with, and it's because he was very happy. Now, do you guys all remember Superman? Christopher Reeve? Okay, so I got to meet him probably back in 2001, and we flew him into Walt Disney World for our event because we were going to be honoring him. And I remember he flew into this hangar on a private plane. He got off the plane, there's 3 nurses, there's 4 aides, and he gets off. And I don't even know I'm emotional, but he looked like he was 100 years old. He didn't have his hair on, he didn't have his makeup on, and he was showing up for us. And when I met him, he was the kindest, most generous, giving person. Cynthia, you remember? Nicest guy ever. And he could have chose to have a very different attitude. I mean, he was beautiful. He loved being active. He had a spinal cord injury, and he used that to change the world, to do research, to change the world. And I was just so impressed by him. I just want to be like that, because it doesn't matter what we're going through. Happiness is not circumstantial, ever. It's attitudinal. With the 10 million children that we work with at our hospitals, they have so many reasons to not be happy. So many of them have tracheotomies, they're stuck in their wheelchairs, and they have reasons not to be happy. They choose happiness every day. They are unbelievable, they get it. And one of my boyfriends, his name is Adam, cutest kid in the world. I can't get a boyfriend in my 40s, but I can get him 10 and under so easy. So anyway, but Adam is my boyfriend, and I love him to death. Adam has spina bifida. And I met him when he was 7. He's 12 now. We actually just did a little rendezvous with him and Chris Pratt at our children's hospital in Louisiana. And we were at this event, and we have all of these champion kids, and we're at a swimming pool. And Adam is sitting in his wheelchair while all these other kids are playing. And Adam didn't care. Adam was just loving me in that moment, where all these kids are having fun, because he got it. He understood that happiness is not circumstantial. Happiness is totally based on your attitude and how are you going to show up. So key number 1, be happy. Choose happiness now. Now I have to go to my notes to remember my second key. All right, I'm super excited about this one. Key is to dream big. How many of you guys in life right now are playing it safe? Or are you willing to get to the cliff and just jump? Now for me, this is jumping right now. Like, I've been freaking out all week. I've been so excited, but I'm so nervous. So this is jumping. I'm literally like, but you're giving me a very soft landing right now. So thank you. You all have smiles on your face, and it's making it so much easier for me right now. It's so important that we dream big in life, because we can get anything that we want. And I want to share with you a dream that I had when I was a little girl. I'm the biggest sports fan in the world. I love the Denver Broncos. I started liking them when I was 5 years old. In high school, growing up, I would bet Pops if they would lose or win a Super Bowl. They lost 4 Super Bowls, and somehow I'm still standing here today. Like, I don't know how I got through that. It was so painful. Well, I go to ask my parents, like, one game, we were playing the Jacksonville Jaguars. I was so upset. I threw a marble across the room, broke the computer screen, shattered it, because I was so upset that they lost. But I'm in college, and I meet a girl from Denver. And you guys might remember Chriselle. I went to my first Broncos game in 1993. Well, when I'm a senior, I'm in the sports information department at BYU, and I decide that I want to work for the Denver Broncos. So I try twice to get an internship. I get turned down twice. Well, I find myself in Denver in July of 1995, and I'm interviewing with different colleges to be an assistant sports information director. And I'm in the hotel room, and I look on the table, and there is a Denver Broncos mouse pad. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I should call the Broncos right now. I pick up the phone, I get their number, I ask for Jim Sacamano. He answers the phone, he says, hey, what can I do for you? I said, I just want to come talk to you. I want to work for the Broncos. He's like, I don't have time. I'm like, I need 5 minutes of your time. I just want to come talk to you. He said, yes. I'm freaking out. I get a taxi over to the facility. I still remember the taxi driver's face. And I'm taking pictures as we pull up to the facility, and I can't believe this. I don't even have a job there. I'm just freaking out that I'm going to talk to him. So I walk into the building. He comes down the steps. He walks me upstairs, and we sit down. He says, Kelly, what can I do for you? And I said, I want to know what I need to do to work for this football club. And he walked out of the room, and he brought in my boss, Bill Harpole, and we talked, and a couple days later, when I was back in Utah, they called me and they said, you have the job. And I packed my bags. I was so excited. I had my sister, another amazing woman. She met me in Green River, Utah, and we drove to Denver, and I was working for the Denver Broncos. Coolest thing, it's the very first, I don't know the day, but it's my very first Broncos game. I'm getting paid to work at a Broncos game. John Elway, one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. He throws this long bomb into the end zone to Rod Smith. He catches it. I am freaking out. I am getting paid for this. I have goosebumps because you can't cheer in the press box. That was one of the coolest days of my life ever. And in that moment, I'm like, I am living my dream. And you know why I was living that dream? Because I was not afraid to pick up the phone and make an ask for what I want. So many of us are so afraid to ask for what they want. Don't be afraid. Never take no for an answer. Two of the biggest other great days of my life, going to Super Bowl 32 and 33 when the Broncos won. Now, my parents always feel bad because they're like, that doesn't say a lot about us if that was the greatest day of your life. But honestly, you guys are great parents, but those two Super Bowl wins were unbelievable, and I think we're on our way to a third, and my cute assistant, Cynthia, loves the Steelers, so I don't even know if we can be friends after that. But go Broncos! So excited. Misty, I am so happy you're here. Oh my gosh, thanks for coming. So I find myself at the Super Bowl, they win, it was unbelievable. What pain are you willing to sustain to achieve your dreams? That is a really good question to ask yourself. I have always had a dream of living in California. Last year, I finally decided I'm going to go on this dream and I'm going to see if it's real. So I got my boss to let me go to California. I'm there and I'm like, this is amazing. I'm living at the beach. I can walk out in a minute, I'm on the beach. What I didn't realize is there was a lot of pain involved in living in California. The 405, trying to park for my meetings, 20 minutes for that. And then going to the grocery store and buying deli meat, and it's like almost double. Like that pain was ridiculous. I couldn't handle that pain, and I'm like, that dream is no longer a dream of mine, period. Like, I'm over that dream. So instead of asking yourself what you want, you need to ask yourself, what pain am I willing to sustain to get what I want? Because that's what it's all about. Also, when you're going for your dreams, never take no for an answer. We have an awesome relationship with Lady Antebellum. They are a country music group, and for 6 years, I've been trying to get them to do something with us, and they keep telling me no, 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 and it's not personal, it's not about them, it's just timing. Well, I didn't give up, and I did not take no for an answer, and last year, a little over a year ago, they showed up at our event at Walt Disney World, and they blew our event out of the park. The love that they gave to each one of our miracles was so incredible, and it was because I did not take no for an answer. So I want you guys to dream big, dream big, dream big. Now I'm going to be sharing a couple of stories from Oprah tonight because I'm obsessed with her. I just recently went with my amazing girlfriend, Melissa. We went and heard Oprah and some amazing spiritual thought leaders in Washington, D.C. One thing Oprah shared, she said, I always thought when I arrived I would have 8 oak trees out front of my house. And she says, the other day I was looking out, not only were there 8 oak trees, there were 3,000 trees outside of those 8. You have to realize that God has bigger dreams for you than you have for yourself. So open up your mind to what God's dreams are for you, because I think sometimes we limit ourselves, and anything is possible. And I want to share one more story about dreaming big. So back in 1995, that's the very first year that I started at Children's Miracle Network Hospitals, I met a child named Joshua Sundquist, 9 years old, leg amputated from the hip. I thought, this kid is unbelievable. I fell in love with him. Well, today, we're super good friends. Just talked to him on the phone tonight because I'm like, I need some tips. I'm freaking out. Josh has went on to change the world. He's a very famous motivational speaker, author, YouTuber, but the coolest thing about him is when he was younger, he wanted to be a skier. He's got one leg. He talked to a coach, and he said, you got a 1 in a million shot of making the Paralympics. Josh didn't care. Josh dreamed really big, and Josh competed in the Torino Olympic Games. And he actually just got married just recently to one of my dear friends who also works at Children's Miracle Network Hospitals. That's what dreaming big looks like. So if you have a dream tonight, I just encourage you, whatever it is, to take that step forward, because that's all it takes, is taking that one step forward. So key number 2, done. Let me find out what my third key is. Okay, I really like this one. Are you living your life in alignment with your boundaries? Are you living your life in alignment with your values? Now, I want all of you to write on a piece of paper your top 5 values. So for me, I think that faith is definitely up there. Family is up there. Friends are up there. Service, and probably the bottom is my job. Now, I want you to do a pie chart on the other side and assign a percentage to where you spend your most time. I'm assuming, well, if anyone has their life in alignment with their values, I'd like you to raise your hand. Because so many of us value our friendships, but we're spending all of our time over here. It's really hard to have our life in alignment with our values. So I just want you to think about that. It's so important as we strive to live in alignment with our values that we have boundaries. So many times people don't know what our expectations are. We fail to use our voice to speak up for what we want. We say yes when we mean no. And when you say yes, you're always saying no to something else. So when you say no, you're always saying yes to something else. So it's important to remember that. So for me, I wanted to share with you one thing that's really helped me live my life in alignment with my values. And this is probably way too much information, but I'm going to share it with you. So I am 42. I've never been married. I hopefully will one day. I'm waiting. I made a decision when I was younger to not have sex before I get married. And that's where I'm at today, but that's because I have boundaries and I live within those boundaries. And because I set that boundary and I'm very clear with all of the men that I date that this is my boundary, then I get to live my life in alignment with my values, and then I'm way more happy. But it's doing that in every area of your life. Just making sure that you have boundaries and you're sticking up for yourself and what you believe. So important. I want to share a cool example of a celebrity that I work with that I think lives his life in alignment with his boundaries. Have you seen Jurassic World or Guardians of the Galaxy? Any of you? So Chris Pratt, probably my favorite celebrity on the planet. I'm obsessed with him, and I usually don't freak out when I meet celebrities, but this celebrity, he has a heart of gold. And you know what I think Chris values? He values giving back. He values his family. He values loving people. So about 2 years ago, I read in a newspaper article that he saved his costume from Guardians of the Galaxy in case the movie did well. He wanted to go surprise some kids at the hospital. So I set the visit up. We go into the hospital. These kids are in the childlike playroom, and they have no idea that a superstar is going to walk out in his costume from the movie and surprise them. And we go in there, and Chris just pours love on them. But this is where his life was living it in alignment with his values. When he walked in the hospital that day and he saw me, he goes, "Kelly, I need to get this on my calendar once a month." That's pretty impressive. Honestly, right now, he's one of the biggest superstars on the planet. He has a heart of gold, and he will always be that way. I trust him to be a guy that totally has his values in line with what he believes. So I just really encourage you to use a voice, make sure you're clear with your boundaries, and make sure people around you know what your boundaries are so they can be honored. Okay? All right, the next key. How's it coming? Is it working out? No, it's okay. I'm a little bit disappointed because my last key, I have the coolest video to show you from one of my miracle kids, and this is not going to work. But that's going to be okay. All right. The next key is to have gratitude. Now, a lot of these keys I don't do very well because I'm still working on everything. This key I got down pat. I love being grateful because when you are grateful, you have so much more to be grateful for. So when I wake up in the morning, I take gratitude showers. Now, I don't know if you guys take them, but they're awesome. You get in the shower, and first of all, are you so grateful that you're not paralyzed, that you can walk into the shower? I dated a guy who was paralyzed, and he couldn't walk. He couldn't, you just can't walk. And just the fact that I can walk makes me so happy. In fact, my amazing friend Sean is here today. Sean was paralyzed for 7 years. He's walking today. He's a total miracle. But you know what I'm talking about, right? When you're in a chair forever and you can't walk. So I have gratitude that the hot water, that I can feel it on my skin. I have gratitude that I can buy that razor, that I can buy that shaving gel. I have gratitude that I have a house that I have a shower in. So today when I was doing it, I'm like, you're talking about it. You better be doing it today. I did it the whole time. And think about it. If you're thinking about that instead of what you have to do for the rest of the day, you're going to be less stressed. You're going to be so grateful. I also keep a gratitude journal, and I've been doing this every night for 12 years. So right before I go to bed, I write down 10 things that I'm grateful for. Some days it's hard. Some days I'm grateful for tampons, zit medicine, chocolate, and Hallmark movies. Other days I am grateful for my electricity or friends or whatever, you name it. It's different every day. But if you want to change the trajectory of your life, have a gratitude journal and write in it every day. It is so unbelievable because you truly realize how blessed you really are. How many of you guys know, hi Trisha, I'm so happy you're here. How many of you guys know Viktor Frankl? He was in the Holocaust. Now, a couple years ago, I was listening to Wayne Dyer at an event in Pasadena called Be Your Best, what was that? Do It Yours, I can't remember. It was a really awesome seminar. And Wayne was talking to Viktor Frankl, and he's like, how did you survive a Holocaust camp? How did you survive it? And he said, you know, Wayne, I would be fed a dirty bowl, or a bowl of dirty water, and there'd be a fish head in it. And he's like, if I couldn't find beauty in the fish head, I would have never survived. So it's like, you have to look at what's around you and be so grateful for it, because there's so much to be grateful for. How many of you are familiar with Elizabeth Gilbert? She wrote the book Eat, Pray, Love. Well, I heard her recently at a seminar, and she talked about having a really bad day one day. She was going through divorce court. She left the building. She went over to a post office, and she went to the corner of the post office, and she just lifted her hands up, and she's like, God, I cannot do this anymore. And the answer that she got was, look for the magnificent and the beautiful. She's thinking, that's a weird answer. She walks out of the post office, and there's this huge elephant with a majestic character on top of it. And she's like, oh my gosh, that's magnificent and beautiful. No matter what is going on, there's something beautiful. So what is your elephant? What is something that you can look for when maybe things are a little bit hard, so you're paying attention to all the amazing things that you can be grateful for? I love writing thank you notes. You're all getting one tonight. And it might have a little bit of money in it for showing up today. But anyway, I love writing them. And some of the coolest things I've ever got back are thank you notes. And I have a thank you note from Christopher Reeve from that event, from Ryan Seacrest when I sent him from chocolates for Christmas last year, from Coach K when he won the championship last year. Like, thank you notes mean the world to people. Are you writing them? Because when you do, you're sending out gratitude, and you will always have things to be grateful for that will come back to you. I also want to just remind you, and you guys all know this, that every day is the biggest gift ever, especially with the miracle kids that I work with, and they're not around very long. Every day is such a gift, and we are a gift. Every one of us is a gift in someone else's life. You need to open up yourself and give yourself away, but also treat every day as though you don't know if there is a tomorrow. About 8 years ago, I was at our children's hospital in Phoenix, and I was with Miss America, and we were just visiting the kids, and we walked into one room, and there was this child, and the family had just taken it off life support, and we were just there with the family to comfort them in their time of need, but I guarantee you that family knew that every day was a gift. Sometimes we just don't realize it. My unbelievable sister has a special needs child. He's 19. Greatest gift in our family. He doesn't have any language. He's not potty trained. He has tuberous sclerosis. He's severely autistic. Is every day a gift, Chris? Because you don't know what the future is, right? Every day is a gift. All right, okay, gratitude, practice it. It makes you very happy. All right. This next one, kind of excited about too. Trusting God's plan for your life. So I'm Mormon. I grew up Mormon. Oh, I'm still Mormon. I'm active in the faith. But in the Mormon faith, they really encourage you to get married and have kids. So I'm 42 and never married. And sometimes, well, I have to be very honest. In my 20s and in my 30s, I felt There's my friend Henry. Thank you for coming. So in my 20s and 30s, I felt very less than. I just thought I wasn't good enough. I'm like, you're not married and you don't have kids. In fact, when I was at BYU and I graduated at 21 years old, I thought something was wrong with me because I didn't get married. I remember being 26 years old and my best friend was 30. And I'm like, if I'm 30 years old and I'm not married, I'll kill myself. Like, that's really how bad it was. I thought I would kill myself. And so a lot of my worth was tied to my marital status, and I want every one of you in this room who isn't married tonight to know that your worth is not defined by your marital status or whether you have children. We are all sons and daughters of God, and it has nothing to do with our marital status. I wish I would have known that so long ago. I just barely figured that one out, but I'm so grateful. I totally trust God's plan for my life. In fact, so I wanted the 4 kids and temple marriage and all of that, but I got this over here, and this is better than I could have ever dreamed. I love my life, but I am so grateful that I trust God, because you know what? I know God's got my back 100% all of the time, and I'm so grateful for that. When I was growing up, I had severe back pain. When I was in 7th grade, I couldn't even walk to class. It hurt so bad to carry my books. All through high school, I was going to doctors trying to figure out, how do I solve this problem? Finally, my senior year of high school, I had back surgery. And it sucked. I mean, I played sports. I played basketball, volleyball, track, and all of my friends are traveling, competing, and I'm stuck with a bad back. In fact, I had back pain for 15 years, and it was really painful, but honestly, my bad back was the best thing that ever happened in my life. Now, I'm not going to bore you with the whole story right now, but that started a mission for me that has got me where I am today, and it's all because of that. I'm so grateful that I had that back pain. I truly believe that everything that happens into us in our life is perfect, always. And you have to look and see how it's perfect for you. It's kind of a terrible question to ask when you think about child abuse and some of those terrible things, but we can honestly look at everything that's happened in our life and see that it's perfect for us. Also, it's really important that we surrender in our life. Recently, I was with Dr. J, and he is an NBA Hall of Famer. And I was talking to him, I'm like, Julius, how are you so happy all the time? Because Julius has a lot of pain in his life. He lost a child. He's had a lot of death. And he's like, you know what, Kelly? The key to my happiness is that I surrendered. I realized that I was no longer in charge of the universe. And I let go. And I'm like, really? I'm not in charge of the universe? Like, I think I'm in charge of the universe, and it's very stressful. But surrendering is like the best thing you can do ever. And the coolest story, and I love this story so much. So when I heard Oprah 2 years ago, this story stayed with me more than anything that she said. So she was obsessed with getting the role in the movie The Color Purple, and it's all she could think about. And she said that she checked herself into this fat farm, and she's on the treadmill, and she's just talking to God, and she's like, I just want this part. And then she realizes, she's like, I have to let go. I can't have this dream anymore. After 9 months of being obsessed with it, right after she lets go, she has someone come into the room, and he says, Miss Winfrey, you have a phone call. Steven Spielberg is on the phone offering her the role in The Color Purple. How unbelievable is that? That's crazy. That's what happens when you surrender in your life. It happens all the time. With one of my addictive behaviors, I will not surrender. I just won't do it. I know I need to, but I know there's so much awesomeness on the other side of it. I'm still getting there. Humbless. Like, I'm going to get there one day, and I am so excited. Another key to really trusting God's plan in your life is listening to your life. Your life is always speaking to you, and this key I got from Oprah. This is a good one. So, it's always speaking to us. Are you paying attention? Are you paying attention to the whispers? If you don't listen to those whispers, which are really your gut, you're going to start feeling pebbles hitting your body. Pebbles mean you might have a problem. If you don't listen to the pebbles, you will start feeling bricks. Bricks mean you might kind of have some chaos going on, and if you don't pay attention to those bricks, you're going to hit the brick wall, always. Total catastrophe. You never had to hit the brick wall if you would have just paid attention to your gut and listened. But how many of us are attached to an outcome and want things to be a certain way. I am. I mean, I really want things to be a certain way. So just listen to your gut and honor your calling. If you ask yourself why you're here, what is my calling? That's really trusting God. He'll give you the answers. Just trust him. He knows what's perfect for you. So I am just so grateful that I'm in a place in my life now where I trust him. And one other cool key before I move on to the next is I read a book years ago by Byron Katie. It's called Loving What Is. Whenever we don't love what is, we're pretty miserable because we're always arguing with reality. When we argue with reality, it's kind of stupid. Like tonight, I was arguing with reality because there was traffic. There was a wreck on the road, and I'm like, no, there can't be a wreck on the road tonight. I want people to get there on time so I can start on time. I'm sorry that we started late tonight. I'm a time Nazi, and it was hard for me. I apologize that you guys were waiting. But anyway, I had to surrender to that and know that, you know what? When you love what is, everything is a lot better. You can still change it. You can still want to change it, but just love what is for right now, and then you won't have angst in your life. Because I got to myself, I called my friend Melissa, and I'm like, hey, there's traffic. Tell me how this is perfect for me right now. And it was. Like, that traffic was perfect for me right now. It was an awesome lesson for me to learn. Okay. Next key. Love yourself fully. I think so many of us struggle with this. We don't feel that we're successful enough, we're pretty enough, we're good enough. A lot of times it's really easy to compare yourself to others. Comparison is always a thief of joy. Oprah shared a really cool story about how she interviews presidents on her show. She interviews the biggest celebrities on the planet, and this is what they all want to know. And I find this so interesting. Everyone that Oprah has ever interviewed in her 30 years, this is all they want to know, no matter who you are. Did you see me? Did you hear me? And did what I say mattered? Everybody really just wants to know, am I good enough? Are you hearing me? So if you want to change every relationship in your life, I want you, for that person that you're with, to know that you see them, that you hear them, and that what they say matters. That will change every relationship. For me, I've had a really awful relationship with myself for a really long time. With the body dysmorphia disorder, there's been depression and anxiety, and I have this person called Evil Kelli, or I call her Vicious Bee, and you know what that stands for. She likes to talk to me a lot. I can't stand her. Like, seriously, she drives me crazy. Because there's this girl over here that actually knows that she's good enough. That you're awesome, you make mistakes, but you keep trying. But then Vicious Bee wants to come out and talk to me. And so, you know, we've said our goodbyes so many times. She keeps showing up. But there's some cool tricks that I have learned to do it. First of all, if you ever have negative energy coming in your life, pretend like there's a valve and turn the valve off. Right then. Pay attention, I feel you, and turn the positive energy valve on. But here is a really cool thing, and I want you guys to all do this tonight, tomorrow. Just do this one thing. I want you to turn the radio station on, and this is all just in your mind. What station are you going to listen to? So for me, it's been, you're fat, you're ugly, you're not good enough, you're never going to get married, nobody's ever going to love you. That's one of the stations I like to listen to. The other station over here is, you are a hot, sexy mama, and you are good enough, and you're going to find somebody, and it's all perfect. You just trust God's plan for your life. So, tomorrow morning when you wake up, turn the station to the right channel. Because how many of us listen to the wrong channel? And it's total BS. It's such BS, and we buy into it, and it's so annoying. But I bought into it all of these years. One other really cool thing to think about is you would never talk to a kid the way you would talk to yourself. Like for me, if I talked to a kid the way I've talked to me, it would be abuse. I'd be arrested for the way I talk to myself. But here's a really cool thing that you can do to really help you love yourself. And this I learned from Wayne Dyer a couple years ago at his seminar. I am. Everything that you say after I am will find you. Always. You will create it. So for me, every night before I go to bed, I say, I am divine. I am enough. I am ready to go to sleep, so I can hopefully go to sleep. I am beautiful. I am whatever it is I want to be. I say it because the power of your language matters so much. One thing Oprah really focused on with us is what you say is so important. How many of you guys, and I know everyone in the room is going to raise your hand, how many of you guys say I'm tired throughout the day? I'm so tired. And even me knowing what I know, I still say it, and it drives me crazy. I still say I'm tired. When you say you're tired, you are going to be more tired, always. So Oprah says, I'm waiting on my second win. Instead of saying, I am stressed, which is one I like to say with my job a lot, I say, I have so many opportunities. I'm surrounded with opportunity. So I just want you to really pay attention to the language you use because that determines your self-esteem and your self-worth. Thank you, Roger. I hear myself. And so I just want you guys to all love yourself. You are good enough. And I'll move on to the next key. All right. This next one. Okay, so back in 2010, I got a phone call from a girlfriend who was dealing with some addictions. And she's like, hey, my therapist recommended this book. Why don't you read it? I read it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I need this treatment center because I have my own addictions. As I mentioned, my 20-year journey of digging holes in my face. For so many reasons, I just did it. But I just realized that I needed this treatment center. And I want to read you a journal entry that I wrote. It'll explain a little bit more about the addiction. March 30th, this is 2010. Tonight I received a phone call from a girlfriend who's been struggling with popping pills to numb herself out from uncomfortable feelings in her life. She mentions her therapist recommended a holistic treatment center. My ears perk up because I have my own addictions that are controlling my life. She tells me about a book called The Alcoholism and Addiction Cure, a funny title to resonate with me since I don't drink alcohol or do drugs. I decide to go buy the book to see if this would be a good thing for her to do. In the middle of highlighting the entire book, I realize that I need this treatment center. I was inspired by their belief that alcoholism and addiction are not diseases. And some people in the room may disagree with that, and that's okay. There's a lot of different philosophies on that. They are behaviors that people become dependent on to deal with the uncomfortable feelings they don't want to feel. Once you identify the underlying conditions that are causing you to feel specific feelings, you won't need to do that specific behavior. This was very encouraging to me because I have been told in therapy I suffer from body dysmorphia disorder, anxiety, depression, and obsessive compulsive disorder. I was told that I couldn't make these conditions go away, but I would be able to effectively manage them. Well, what sounds better? Effectively managing them or making them go away completely? We call the center to find out we only need $78,000 to go to their center in Malibu, California. Fortunately, there's a cheaper location in Ventura, California, and that's $22,500. Now, really randomly from the universe, about a day or two before, I had received a check for $22,500. So do you think the universe was telling me I needed to go to this treatment center? I think so. One of the greatest decisions I have ever made in my life. It was a very holistic approach to treatment, acupuncture, hypnotherapy, psychotherapy, just so incredible. And I'm going to read one more journal entry on April 12th. By the way, this key is being present in your life, and I learned about being present in my life from being in rehab for 30 days. So, April 12th. Wow, 2 weeks have flown by, and I can't believe the day is here that I'm checking myself into rehab. How did my life get to this point? How does one become so desperate that they're willing to spend $22,500 on going to a treatment center for drugs and alcohol, and they don't even use drugs or alcohol? It's called addiction. It doesn't matter what your addiction is to. If it's controlling your life, consuming your thoughts and actions, and you feel there is no way to escape, you are dealing with addiction. My reason for choosing rehab is that I had addictions and behaviors in my life that were no longer serving me. One behavior that was all-consuming was digging holes in my face with tweezers. This may sound very weird to you, but it was truly a behavior that controlled everything I did. And by the way, it still kind of does, but that's okay, because I'm moving forward and I'm showing up every day. Like today, tonight I dug my face, today I dug my face. It's kind of how I deal with life. But it's okay, because it is curable, I think. There's things you can do for it. I just haven't chosen to surrender yet. Anyway, okay. Before I would go to bed, most often, this was my favorite time of day for this behavior, I would examine my face very closely in the mirror and look for every tiny hair that I could see and pull it out. The problem is most hairs weren't long enough to get out, and I would dig until I could get them. It was such an amazing feeling of relief when the hair was gone from my face. And that's why I feel like it's such a strong addiction, is because when I get that hair out, I have the biggest sense of relief. Like, it's euphoria, because they're evil. They cannot be in my face. The problem, I was also physically picking on myself for not being good enough or perfect. It was a pseudo sense of control. It was a way to numb myself out from feeling anything. It was a way to celebrate, to feel sad. It was a way to choose not to participate in life. As much as I wanted this behavior to go away, it stuck around. As a consequence, I had years of it controlling what I did. If I could date, go in public, how I should feel about myself. I can't tell you the number of nights and days I spent scalding my face with a hot washcloth to hopefully scald and burn the infection away. I can't tell you the times that was spent calculating and counting the hairs that I couldn't get out the night before, counting the hours to 24 hours because I knew that it would grow in 24 hours. As I write these words, I feel sadness and mourning for the time that was lost from not living and fully being present in my life. The addiction took that away from me. It took years from my life. It took my soul, my heart, and spirit. The journey would have never started if I wasn't willing to let go or loosen the grips of the behavior I was clinging and holding on to. This willingness started a journey of a lifetime. So while I was in treatment, I learned some amazing things. If any of you guys know me, my personality is crazy. Like, I'm type A, I have to do everything fast, I don't slow down. When I was at BYU, I went year-round, so I could start with the next thing. I did spring, summer. I don't like to slow down. It's my dad's fault. My dad is going through life so fast. He doesn't have a lot of patience, either do I, but I still love my dad. He is amazing. So they taught us this amazing concept called dragon walking. Now, dragon walking is where when you walk and you feel every bone in your foot going, and while you're going slowly, you pay attention to what's going on around you, and you can have people in this journey go with you. You're like actually paying attention to them, and you can serve their needs, and they can serve yours. Well, one day I was with my life coach, and we went on a hike to this beautiful cave, and on the way up, I was in front of everyone. I didn't even know where we were going. That's how fast I wanted to go. And the reason that I was going in front of everyone is I wanted to burn more calories so I would feel thinner, so I could fit in my clothes and I could feel better about myself. So we get up there, and he tells us, first of all, this really cool thing. He had us throw away our crap stick. And when you throw it away, you say, I no longer do this, and I now embrace this. So pretty cool thing to do in your life. If there's something you want to get rid of, I no longer, and I now embrace. So he's like, I don't want you to talk on the way back on this hike. And on the way back, I was present to my life. And I saw the flowers, I saw the waterfalls, I saw the rocks. I totally paid attention, and I was not focused on chasing the future feeling. Because how many of us are wanting that future feeling? It's so amazing to be present in our lives right now. And I'm so excited for you to hear from my unbelievable friend, Nathan Anderson, tonight. No one on the planet that is living life more out loud and in alignment with his values than this guy. And by the way, one way to be happy, I'm going to go back to that. I love high-fiving people. High-fiving people is the best. I'll do it in the airports, and it makes their day. Totally makes their day. This is how I met this guy. We're at the gym, and I high-fived him back in April, and we've had the most unbelievable friendship ever since. It's a great way to be happy. Okay, I digress. I'm sorry. Okay, so it's just so important for us to slow down, Dad, and enjoy walking with Mom. In fact, I was just with my friend Becca in Hawaii a week ago. And did you notice I was walking in front of you so much of the time? Yeah, the whole time I'm walking in front of her. And I'm like, that was really wrong on my part because I wasn't being with her. I was just going, moving forward, getting things done, checking things off my list. I challenge you all tomorrow to be more present in your life. All right, my very last key. And Roger, am I going to be able to show video? Is he still here? Oh, no, it's not going to work? Okay, that's okay. All right, the power of manifesting miracles in your life. Now, I kind of think I'm magical, I have to be honest. Like, I believe each one of us in this room is so magical. You know, I have to share with you some really magical days in my life. Back in April, I was at the Country Music Awards with Melissa, and that morning, we were talking about people, and here's the key. We all know about The Secret. What you think about, you attract. abracadabra actually means what you speak will come into existence. I totally believe that what you say will happen. So you have to be so careful with the language that you use. But we're walking through the hotel, and I'm talking about country singer Luke Bryan. He literally walks by us, maybe 30 seconds after we talked about him, and then I'm on my phone and I'm on Instagram, and I'm showing her this really cute guy that I like named Miles Adcox, and he's a contributor for Dr. Phil, and he has his own treatment center in Nashville. Never met him. He walks in the hotel right then, right after that. And I actually met him. That was pretty cool. And then that night, we're at the Country Music Awards in Jerry Jones' crazy stadium. There's 100,000 people, and I'm talking about my friend Taylor. And who appears? Taylor. It was the craziest day ever. What you're looking for, you will always find. In fact, for me, I'm always looking for celebrities because I want every celebrity on the planet to support Children's Miracle Network hospitals, because I honestly think we're the greatest charity in the world, treat more kids than any other charity, and I think every celebrity should support it. So everywhere I go, I see celebrities. Like the other day, I was in Salt Lake and met Katherine Heigl. Of course, I'm going to go talk to her. She needs to support kids, but she supports animals, which is great. Animals are great. I wanted her to support kids. Another day, I was there in the exact same spot. I've met Donovan McNabb, Sam Bradford, Justin Tuck, all in the same place at the airport. It's so crazy. But what you look for, you will find. Now, here's a really cool thing. I'm reading this book right now called EMC Squared. Is that right? Something like that. It's by Pam Grout. 9 experiments that you can do to prove that what you speak comes into existence. So the first experiment was to look for a blessing. And it was really cool. I had a blessing, but my little sister, I told her to do it with me. And that day she said she really wanted something nice for dinner. And she didn't have any food. That day, her neighbor called her and brought her over a rotisserie chicken. She was looking for a blessing, and the blessing came to her. You know what's so crazy about this? In my hotel room the next day, my maid on a piece of paper writes, "Enjoy your blessing." Is that the weirdest thing ever? That doesn't happen. That's crazy. Okay, so the first 24 hours of one experiment was to look for green cars. I'm like, oh, that's not going to be very hard. Green cars exist. Literally, Melissa's going to testify. I'm looking out the window, and there is a fluorescent, bright green truck. I'm like, okay, that was so easy. That was so easy. So the next day, I'm in Nashville, Tennessee, and I'm on my way to go see Miles at his on-site treatment center. And I am supposed to find butterflies. Are you kidding me? Who sees butterflies? Do you guys ever see butterflies? I don't see them a lot. So that morning, I'm like, I'm controlling this. I'm not going to trust God that he's going to just bring a butterfly to me. I'm going to find it, and not allow it to happen. So I'm going through all the channels. I'm looking at all the kids' stations. There's got to be a butterfly. No butterfly. I get in the car. I drive an hour out to the venue, meet with Miles. We're talking for a minute. We walk outside of his office. Right as we walk outside, there's a butterfly on a rock. It's green, and it says relax. How crazy is that? Seriously? I'm trying to control the universe and everything, and God's like, relax, Kelly, I got your back. So what's even more crazy than that is Miles gives me a book called Letting Go with a butterfly on it, and then his girlfriend gave me a card with a butterfly on it. Whatever you are looking for, you will find always. If you want to focus on negative things, you're going to get more negative things in your life. If you focus on positive things, you will always, always create it. Let's see. So I really want you to, and I really did want to mention Sean again. He's the biggest miracle ever. And he has a book out. And what's the name of it, Sean? Impossible, or so they said. Believe in miracles in your life. You can create anything. So for me, the reason I love my job is I see miracles every day. These children are walking miracles. I just want to share one miracle with you. His name is Little Boo, and he is now 12 years old, and I am so sad you can't watch his video tonight. He recorded a video for you guys, but I'll text it to each one of you because it's so cute. Okay, so Little Boo, when he was 5 years old, he got the H1N1 virus. Completely attacked his body. All of his organs just completely destroyed. He spends 501 days in the hospital. Now, as a parent, which I don't know, but for you parents in here, can you imagine being in the hospital with your child for 501 days? Well, he gets out of the hospital, and for 3 years, he has to do dialysis. So he sits in a car for 4 hours, to drive there, sits in his chair for 4 hours, drives home 4 hours, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. This kid doesn't even know what a life is like through 1st grade through 5th grade. That's his entire life. Little Boo got a successful kidney transplant from his mom a year and a half ago. He is doing so amazing today. He is a miracle. And I want you guys to know, and you know this, but oh my gosh, what a miracle that we're alive right now. A miracle that we're breathing. A miracle that we live in America where most people don't have food or shelter. Life is a total miracle. And if you're looking for miracles, you see them. It's a miracle that my car started tonight and I got there. Why? Just because. I mean, technology, it's a miracle. Everything is a miracle. How are you looking at life? Yeah, I could use a miracle right now, seriously, because little Boo, I just wanted you to see his before and after picture when he's like so sickly and now he's just livelier than life. So in closing, I have something for you guys that kind of demonstrates a few of my keys. I just want, but it's a thank you card from me with some money inside. And I'm just so grateful that you showed up. It's not a lot, it's $1, okay? But here's the thing, this is the thing. I want you guys to decide what you're gonna do with that $1. Are you gonna put it back into the universe and watch what comes in? Are you gonna do it as an act of service to someone? You get to decide. But I really just want you guys to be more happy, to have more gratitude, to trust God, to love yourself, to dream big, to be present in your life, and most of all, believe in miracles. And thank you so much for being here.